welcome to part 2 of The Witch's Face. Just a reminder, this story is for our upper elementary kids. If you are in pre-K and kinder, this might be a little scary for you, so make sure you are reading/watching this with a parent. The last time we left off, Don Aurelio had found a cottage and found 3 women who turned out to be witches. And we're trying to see if Don Aurelio is able to escape. So, where we left off, Don Aurelio awoke at dawn, his head throbbing, to find himself imprisoned in an iron cage. The young witch stood on the side of the bars. She stared at him, her eyes filled with sorrow. "Why didn't you escape while we were away last night? It is too late now. You are doomed." He reached out to her through the bars. "Tell me your name." "I am Amelia." "Are you a witch too, Amelia?" She shook her head. "No, not until tomorrow night. When I take my final vows, you will die, and I must be the one to take your life. There is no other way." But there is," Don Aurelio pleaded. "Amelia, I cannot believe that you want to be a witch. Why else would you attempt to protect me? I saw what happened last night. I saw you hide your face and fly away. Your mother and grandmother may be witches, but you are not like them. There is still compassion in your heart. I can feel it. Do not let it die, Amelia. Let us escape together. Help me, Amelia, so that I can help you." A glimmer of hope flickered across Amelia's face. She looked around to be sure they were alone. Satisfied, she took a key from her apron and passed it through the bars. "Stay here until we leave tonight. You know where we hide our faces. Take mine. Burn the others. Mother and grandmother cannot pursue us without their faces. Another pair of wings is hanging in the cupboard. It has enough magic to last 1 night. The wings will carry you home. My witch's face will protect you from whatever evil you may counter along the way. However, you must burn it in the moment you reach safety. Promise me that." Don Aurelio swore that he would. "Then make a new face for me. It need not be beautiful. Any face is better than the face of a witch. When the new face is finished, call my name. The spells that bind me will break, and I will come to you." Just when they heard someone coming, "I must go," Amelia said. "Remember, burn my face." She kissed Don Aurelio through the bars and hurried away. That night, the 2 older witches mocked him. "You should have fled when you had the chance, mortal," they cackled. Amelia said nothing. Her eyes met him for an instant, then moved away. As soon as the witches left, Don Aurelio unlocked the door. He pulled the 3 faces from the sack of cornmeal, put Amelia's in his pocket, and dropped the others into the stove. They flared up like tissue paper. Within seconds, they had burned to ashes. A rush of cold air swept through the room as Don Aurelio slipped on the straw wings. He glided through the kitchen window soon as he was soaring through the night sky. Don Aurelio reached his home at midnight. Slipping the wings from his shoulders, he hurried across the courtyard to the stable. He lit a candle, but when he held Amelia's face to the flame, its mysterious beauty so haunted him that he could not bring himself to destroy it. Instead, he slipped it in his back pocket. Taking knife, awl, and needle, he sewed a scrap of leather into a face. Unfortunately, his skills did not equal his ambition. The face's eyes were crooked, its nose was a shapeless lump, its mouth a slit, and its ears 2 ragged flaps hurriedly basted on. But at the time, he hardly noticed these flaws. It was dark, and he was in a hurry to bring Amelia to him. "Amelia," he whispered. The next moment, he held her in his arms. She took the leather mask from his hands and pressed it against her cheeks. "You are all I have now. Do not forsake me," she whispered to him as they embraced. The candlelight fell across Amelia's new face. Don Aurelio shuddered. Do not pity me, Amelia told him. It brings me great joy to know I am free of the witches. Does it matter what my face looks like? He answered no, but in his heart he was less sure of that reply. The next morning, he introduced Amelia to his family. He described how they met in the market in Mexico City, where Amelia had a booth selling straw wings and other toys for children. They had fallen in love and wished to be married. His mother and sisters welcomed Amelia, although they could not help staring at her misshapen face. Don Alario's father greeted Amelia politely. My house is your house, he said. He ordered his servants to prepare the guest room for her and to see her comfort, but he said nothing about a wedding. A month passed. Amelia's presence brightened the household. She played with Don Alario's younger sisters and helped them with their lessons. She sat with Don Alario's mother by the hour, playing the guitar, while Senora Martinez worked on her embroidery. She even accompanied the family to church. Even so, Don Alario's father remained distant. His few conversations with Amelia were never more than polite. He sat at the dinner table, observing her as one might observe an odd insect that accidentally flew through the window. If he had any thoughts, he shared them with no one. Was it his father's reaction or something else that made Don Alario grow more unsettled as the weeks passed? He caught himself looking away whenever he and Amelia were together. This is foolish. I love the person, not the face, he told himself over and over again. But the twisted mask hung in his thoughts like a flock of ravens circling the sky. One evening, as Don Alario prepared for bed, his father came to his room. This joke has gone on long enough, Senora Martinez said sternly. Who is this woman? How did you meet her? I demand to know. Look, I have told you already. You have told me nothing. Where is your horse? You said you left it in Mexico City. I wrote to your friends there. They said you never arrived. Look, I love Amelia, he insisted. His father sneered. Love? I could understand if she were a beauty, but when a young man of good family falls in love with a freak, he is either insane or bewitched. No, you are mistaken, father, Don Alario answered. Then tell me the truth. I cannot. Senor Martinez stormed from the room, leaving him alone with his thoughts. It is the face, Don Alario decided at last. Father would have no doubts if Amelia were beautiful, nor would I, he admitted with a sinking heart. That is the solution. Amelia had a beautiful face once. I must give it back to her. Don Alario slipped on his coat and hurried along the highway until he reached the guest room. He found the door slightly ajar. He peered inside. Moonlight streamed through the open window. 2 pairs of straw wings hung on the wall above Amelia's bed. Her hair spread out over the pillow like a fine lace, but the face in the moonlight was as worn as a piece of the old leather. He gently removed the leather mask. He took the witch face from his pocket and smoothed it over Amelia's cheeks. The witches can never find you here. You need to hide your beauty no longer. He bent down to kiss her forehead. Amelia's eyes opened. She glanced in the mirror. You promised! You burned it! Why would you break your promise? She shrieked in horror as she saw her face. She leaped from the bed before Don Alario could answer. I understand now. You never loved me. It was the face you loved, though you knew it was the face of a witch. Very well. Since it is a witch you want, then a witch I will be. But know this, a witch can never love a mortal man. So saying, she snatched up her wings and flew out the window. Amelia! He answered. He lunged after her. In desperation, he slipped on the second pair of wings and tried to follow. But whatever magic they held was long gone. With a cry, Don Alario fell to the courtyard. Don Alario lived for many years, although he never walked again, nor did he ever marry. Still and all, he had a distinguished career as a judge and senator. That peculiar leather mask, though, never left his side. Sometimes, when he thought himself alone, he was seen holding it in his lap and calling for someone named Amelia. But though he called her name 1,000 times, she never came. Before he died, he asked these words to be carved upon his tombstone. La cara bonita es la cara amada, aunque esté hecha de cuero. A beautiful face is one which is loved, even if it is made of leather. So, that is an old Mexican tale that is one of my favorites. Before we end, I wanted to read the beginning of this because with me being Puerto Rican and Mexican, we have a lot of tales such as this one and one that you may know, La Llorona. And I thought this was a really interesting piece. The retelling of the witch's face is partly based on La Esposa Bruja, a story from the oral tradition of the Mazahua Indians of central Mexico. La Esposa Bruja means the witch bride. A Spanish version of the story appears in many different tales. Other elements of the story are the fruit of the delightful evening in Guadalajara. So a lot of the story takes place in Guadalajara. And yeah, I just thought that was really interesting that this, was not the original tale, that this has been told and translated into so many different languages. Well, thank you all so much for joining me on this two-parter. Hopefully I get to see you all again. Have a good day.